Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to our very first episode of our Chicago Blackhawks series here in NHL 23. So we waited around for a roster update, and the roster update has officially come, which is great. So we do have a lot of new players in this franchise mode, like Jake Sanderson and Andrei Kuzmenko, and I also did add a few players for the Chicago Blackhawks, and I also added one draft class prospect, that being Matvei Michkov, which I will show you guys in a second. So in this episode, we're not going to do any simulating. We're just going to basically go over a roster, look at the draft class, and look at some potential trade options that we could be doing for this upcoming season ahead. So first, let's get into the contracts in our roster at the moment, which is very interesting, I should say. So as you can see, at center-wise, we have a lot of guys that could play center, which is good, considering Jonathan Toews and Max Domi, both their contracts coming to an end this year. I'd say we definitely want to look at potentially trading away Toews, because he should be going to a contending team. We could always trade him to like Winnipeg if Winnipeg's contending, just because he's from there. And then, yeah, Max Domi could definitely be expendable as well if we want to. We also have Tyler Johnson, who signed for multiple years, Jason Dickinson, and Colin Blackwell, so a couple other good centers are okay centers. We also have Philip Kurashev, who I actually really like. I'd like to keep him around here as long as possible. He's 22, and I think he's a pretty underrated player in a sense. Like, he hasn't put up the most points in the NHL, but he's got a good-looking shot. He's got good hands from what I've seen in on video. So I think he's a pretty decent player, and I'd like to keep him around as long as we can, and hopefully get some good development with this franchise mode. We also got Kyra and Lafferty, who are more bottom six options. Left wing wise, we got Andreas Anastasiou, who's also signed for 1 year. So I'd say he's kind of expendable, like Max Domi, signed for a 1-year contract. I think we could definitely find a way to flip him away as well at like the deadline if we want to. We got Kachuk, who's not much of anything, but we'll probably just keep him around since he's a okay bottom six option. Right wing wise, obviously, we also got Patrick Kane up for renewal, which is also a big one. We should be looking at to get rid of him and Toews both this year, both to contending teams, just because it's a little bit realistic, considering both these guys probably wouldn't want to stick around for a full-on rebuild. And yeah, Patrick Kane being a UFA at the end of the year, he's going to want a lot of money based on the fact he's a 93 overall still. So I would look probably at trading away Kane, especially considering he could probably fetch us quite a bit. And then trading away Toews also should fetch us a decent amount too. We also got Radish, who's decent enough, Entwistle, and Reese Johnson, so some more younger players for our bottom six and top nine. Defensively, we got Seth Jones signed to his enormous contract at 9.5, which is going to be very tough to move, but we definitely need to find a way to move that out eventually, I'd say. I mean, he's an okay defenseman, being an 86 at 27, but I don't think he's worth 9.5, especially for that amount of term. Like, if it was for a few years, okay, but if for that long, taking him till he's like 35 years old or whatever, I don't really like it, so I wouldn't mind trying to trade away Seth Jones as soon as possible. Obviously, it's going to be hard to. We'd have to probably give up like a pick or like retain salary on him or something like that. There's also Jake McCabe, who signed for a few years. He wouldn't be a bad trade option. Connor Murphy, who's decent enough. We might end up keeping Connor Murphy just because he's on an okay contract. Like 4.4 is not bad for an 81, but he is 29 at this point, so maybe we look to trade him away. Jack Johnson's only signed for 1 year, so he could be bait as well, as long as he doesn't retire at the end of the year. Caleb Jones, obviously I'd keep him around since he's still an RFA status player, and he is still young. Obviously, I could probably sign him for a couple of years as like a top six defenseman before we move him out. We also got Vlasic, who's got potential, signed to his ELC, then he's an RFA, and Philip Roos, who's not really much of anything, but we do got some younger guys there. Goaltending wise, we got Peter Mrazek as our starter, which is arguably one of the worst goaltending starters ever, and we also have one of the worst backups in Stalock. No offense to Stalock, because I don't mind Stalock as a player, but being a 75 at 35, that's kind of a weak backup to have, but obviously we don't really need to upgrade that in our first year. We could upgrade that down the road. And yeah, Peter Mrazek as our starter is a bit iffy. I don't know if they lowered his durability in this. No, they put him at still as an 85 durability. They should put that down to like a 50 something, because this guy just is like a glass cannon, kind of like Matt Murray. So there is our main roster, and I did add a few players into our system, which I will show you guys here, are all unsigned players. I added Frank Nazar, and he is assigned to the London Knights at the moment. 72 medium top six. This is just all based off of Super Highway Gaming's tutorials, so there you go. And I upped him a little bit, I think. No, I didn't up him in overall, but I did up another prospect that you guys will see in a bit. He also does have puck on a string and third eye, but should be interesting to see how good Nazar develops into being, and hopefully he becomes that top 6 type of forward we actually need, kind of like John Farinacci was for a little bit in Arizona when we were doing that series back in NHL 22. Also unsigned wise, we got Stjernborg, we got Ludwinski, Hayes, Savoy, and Tahula, which I didn't add any of those guys. But in the system, we do have some more good prospects down here. Let's actually sort by potential. EA gave Korchinski medium elite potential, which to me is a little bit of a stretch, considering the fact that just because he was traded for DeBrincat, basically, in a sense, I think his pick was, I think it was in ours. I don't remember. Maybe it was both of them, but I just think it's like a really overrating for Korchinski, but Korchinski could be still a really good defenseman. So we got Korchinski, we got Nazar, we got Sorella, we got Reichel, who's also really good. I don't know why Reichel's not a medium top 6 at least, but oh well. We also got like Bodin down there, Tepley, Barat, Savoy. Like there's a lot of good solid prospects. Ian Mitchell's still down there, 23 at 77. Like I don't know if any of these guys want to play in the NHL team this season, but yeah, we have an okay amount of prospects, but obviously we're going to have to add a lot more to that because a lot of these guys might not develop into being something, so we should probably pick up like maybe ourselves some good medium elite prospects in the first few years, or via trade we could pick up some prospects, that type of thing. And goalie wise, I did add in a prospect, that being Drew Comesso, who is the best Blackhawks goalie prospect at the moment. Medium starter, 73 overall. And there's his attributes. This is also based on Super Highway Gaming's video, but I did up his overall a little bit just because of the fact it was last year's video, so that way he's a little bit closer to getting to like the AHL and all that type of thing. So, and yeah, we got Soderblom as also the backup down there. I don't think he's going to pan out to being much. Like this might be his peak overall, but at least we have a couple prospects in the system to build around, which is not that bad. Also, I did add in Matvei Michkov to the draft class, as you guys would expect. He is supposed to go 2nd overall. I made him a medium franchise, 79 overall. And in Connor Bedard, I made a high franchise instead of a medium franchise. And I jumped his overall from a 79 to an 81, just to make this draft class a little bit better. So yeah, this is what the draft class looks like, just in case you guys wanted to see. Some of these guys are EA generated, like Goran and Fawcett, but for the most part, a lot of these guys are going to be real players in this first year draft. I didn't add any other draft prospects for future years just because I honestly have no interest in creating prospects. As you guys know, I'm more into throwback rosters and all that type of thing. So just in case you guys wanted to take a look at that first year draft class. Next, I will also show you guys the trading block, just because might as well look for some potential trades we could be doing in this first season ahead. And I think that almost will be it. So we could probably make some pretty big blockbuster trades. Looks like Anaheim's trying to offload everything that they can. So mostly their defensive core and Derek Grant, which is interesting. So Kulikov, Klingberg, Shattenkirk, and Fowler. Literally guys that they brought in the last few years, which is kind of funny. But I don't know why Anaheim's trying to offload so much this quick, because like the season hasn't even started yet. Arizona has let go of Arizona has put Patrick Nemeth on the block, which is not really much of anything. Now that's really interesting. Fabian Lysell is on the block on Boston, 69 overall, medium top 6 potential at 19. I know Lysell's a really good prospect. If Boston is contending, maybe we could find a way to ship them Taser Kane. I don't know if they would be able to afford them. That's the only problem because of the salary cap hit. But Fabian Lysell would be a great prospect to bring in via trade. I just don't know if we're going to be able to do that. There's also McLaughlin, who's not really much of anything, I'd say. I'd say he's more of a third-line option, but there is him as well. There's Portres, Kaiser. What else we got here? Malcolm Subban, Eric Comrie, Vinny Hastroza, so no prospects. Connor Zari's also on the block in Calgary, which is an interesting one, but Calgary should be right up against the cap hit, I think, so we might not be able to trade for somebody like Zari unless we give up somebody that's not making too much. Pospisil, Jack Beck's there as well. And Jeremy Poye is even there too. So a lot of good prospects so far on the block, which is nice. Ryan Suzuki, Stelian Mateos. Damn, Suzuki's already 75 at 21, huh? Yeah, there's going to be some good prospects we could trade for here in this first year if we really want to. Depending if these teams are competitive or not, we could trade Tays or Kane to them, depending how close they're also to the cap space. So Nybeck, Gunler's there, and Drury. So Carolina's trying to offload a lot of prospects. Martin Kautz on the block. That's not a bad option. 77 at 22. Oscar Olsson's there. Yeah, there's a lot of good prospects so far. And also a lot of veterans, but we don't obviously aren't going for a Stanley Cup. Voracek, Jenner, Nyquist. What else we got here? Antonio Strange. Interesting. It's not bad. Detroit, David Perron. Detroit's trying to offload a lot of veterans that they literally just brought in the offseason, which is kind of funny. Jan Mark and Ryan. What else we got here? Saron Noel, but he's already 22, so he's probably not going to pan out. So Redief's also there. What's this Schwint guy's name? He's only an AHL top 6, though. Oh, Kai Schwint. Cole Schwint's brother, right? I think. Oh, we also got Deno. Wow, LA's trying to offload everything, too. Should be an interesting first season to see who ends up winning the Stanley Cup and all that, because this is my first regular franchise mode since we're doing that Draft to Glory. But there is some good prospects on the block, which is nice here early on, because maybe we'll have potential to make some trades and stuff like that at the deadline or around the deadline to pick up some good prospects and offload a lot of those good veterans. Robertson has potential. He could be something decent. Skinner as well. Alex Formanton on the block, obviously, but he's in RFA status still, and I'm not going to do that. Derek Brassard got thrown on the block, same with Watson. Ryan Ellis, but probably, I don't know why Ryan Ellis is going thrown on the block, probably because Philadelphia's not doing too good in this, or they shouldn't be doing too good in this. But also, injury concerns in real life would make sense. Valerie Puistinen, Pierre-Olivier Joseph would be a great one to trade for. Interesting. I'm surprised that Pittsburgh threw him on the block. He'd be a good one to trade for. I mean, he's almost like a top 6 defenseman at this stage already. Like, we could literally trade away someone on our defensive core in order to get somebody like Pierre-Olivier Joseph. We want to get a little bit younger. Obviously, he's only 23, though, is the only thing. Brandon Tanev, jeez. That photo is always slightly horrifying. It's funny. But yeah, there's definitely options for prospects to trade for. Kajevic's there. Hugo Allenfelt, who I think I had in Arizona for a little bit. During Guchensev, Abramov. Abruzzese getting thrown on the block too, but he's already 23. Yeah, there's options for sure. Very excited to see what we could do in terms of trades this year. Zach Dean. Mason Primo. Washington. Some more prospects like Alexiev, who's already 22, but still. Yeah, we definitely have options for first-year trades, which is good, especially when we have to offload like Kane and Tays. Let me actually go to proposed trade for a second. I just want to see what the trade values are like on a roster. I know how franchise mode works here, EA. I've been doing this for years. Come on. I know how it works. Come on, you can stop with the damn tutorial. Okay, so Patrick Kane has a ton of value, so we could definitely get something good for Kane. Seth Jones actually has a good amount of value, but obviously we want to try and make it a bit of a realistic trade. Where is Tays in value? Oh, there he is. He's got an okay amount of value, not really a whole lot. So probably like Tays and Kane will, well, Kane will definitely fetch us a lot. Tays will probably fetch us maybe like a second round pick in a bit. Seth Jones should be able to fetch us like a first rounder if we really wanted to, but with that contract, it might be iffy. I don't think it's going to be that easy. So there is the trade values, just in case you guys wanted to gauge a little interest in potential trades we can make. Like Kane could definitely get traded away for, like, if we wanted to trade him away to a team that was contending. Like if Boston's contending at 41 games in, we could always go to our rookie skaters here and trade for Lascelles easily and a lot of other stuff. But Boston's over the salary cap by 10 million at that stage, so it's gonna be probably pretty tough with the salary cap hits in order to trade for them. Also, sorry if you hear my cat meowing in the background. He is being a little annoying here. So there is that. I think that's pretty much it. Let me actually show you guys our coaching staff as well. I don't know who our coach is. He's an A- forward coach. So it looks like that, just in case you guys wanted to see our coaches. Also, final thing, if you guys want me to sign any free agents, I will show you guys the free agents available in this first year already. So if we wanted to bring in any guys that are free agents, there's still like Tyler Ennis, Victor Rask, Danny DeKaiser. But a lot of these guys are all old, so probably players we wouldn't want to bring in unless we wanted to just bring them in to trade them away. I'm surprised Dom Cahoon's there. He's not bad, but there's quite a bit of players there still that are unsigned, which is interesting. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this very first episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So next episode, we will start up the season simulation. We'll probably do 41 games on the dot, and then we'll look at some potential trades for the trade deadline for the following episode. And hopefully this team could get in some good prospects, good picks, and get this rebuild started, because I'm very excited to kind of offsell a lot of these veteran type players and get into a little bit of a rebuilding stage before we become competitive as possible. So now you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.